Yeah, so Steam Next Fest is great and all, but I would like to recommend making a journal for the games that you play. Next Fest is getting bigger and bigger in every iteration, and I hear a rumor that there's going to be over 5,000 demos available in the June Next Fest. That kind of led me back to thinking about my experience in February. In February, I played 56 game demos with some of the titles that I played showing right now. And honestly, when I was done, I was a little winded. I kind of didn't want to play any games for a while. So I actually did take a little bit of a break to kind of take a load off of the sensory overload that I had during that period of time. What I'd recommend in order to kind of help you recover from that onslaught is to write yourself a journal and tell your write down the initial thoughts that you have about the game, just to remind yourself when you do look at the game again, in addition to remembering the look and feel, to have some general feelings about the controls, the story, whether it was buggy, whether it was easy to play, whether it was fun to pick up, that sort of thing. So after having looked at the list that I made in a Google Sheet, I decided to tell you a little bit more about the 10 games that I liked the best over the last Steam Next Fest. Some are available, some aren't yet, but either way, I think it's worth checking those out because they've had a little time to soak, and I still am excited about them, and I think that's worth checking out. So here they are. I need to be honest with you. I've always harbored a dislike of real-life coin-pushing games, as I've considered them to be attacks on people who can't do math or can't stop themselves from trying to play them. In Raccoin, I finally had the opportunity to turn the tables and watch the coins drop without having to put any of my own real money on the line other than the small purchase price of this game. The pixel art vibes, upgradable mechanics, and chaos that can ensue in this game all lead to a generally enjoyable experience. I would recommend checking it out, and given the reviews that have come out since March, I don't think I'm the only one here. Pro Jank Footy is both made for me and definitely not made for me at all. I have what can only be described as a passing understanding of what Australian rules football is and how it works. And this game is part Aussie rules football, part Neo Geo sports game tribute in the vein of Baseball Stars 2, and part Fever Dream. It takes arcade action and it turns the action in crazy up to 11 or more. It's a lot to take in, but it may just be just the kind of chaos that you need in your life. And we've been asking for more perspectives in gaming, and this feels unapologetically Australian to me in a way that I did not know that I wanted in my life. So thank you to the Pro Jank Footy folks. I sincerely look forward to this game coming out for actual release. The release date is listed as 2026 in general, so I'm not sure if we are going to be waiting for days or months. Either way, I think this is going to be worth the wait. Another game on the list of things I could not possibly have asked for in my biggest fever dreams are Wabisabi Sushi Derby, which is a kind of upgradable rogue-like sushi racing experience where the part of the quote-unquote horse is played by edible pieces of sushi, which may or may not be consumed over the course of a race. The creation of these races earns you prize money, where you can then upgrade your piece of sushi before they go stale and need to be thrown away because their shelf life is up. It's a little bit sushi, a little bit like being a pit crew for a racing game, a little bit horse racing game, a little bit crazy. You're watching anthropomorphic sushi race around trying not to get eaten. It's unique, it's colorful, and honestly, it's tough to put down. There's some roguelike card mechanics and upgrades in here. It's something worth watching out for. Again, this is another game with a non-specific 2026 release date. Here's hoping that they can get it out sometime in the near future. Freefall 95 is a bit morbid. You're stuck in a time loop, doomed to fall out of a plane over and over and die when you hit the ground. If you can get past the initial concept, there's quite a chaotic but engaging pixel art style game where you can do tricks, find items, and complete quests while falling out of a plane. Embrace the craziness and enter the free fall, where you will find feeling of kind of Tony Hawk style combos, Windows 95 style ski free, once and done vibes of runs, but also some upgrade mechanics that can keep you coming back and trying new and interesting things on each run. Feel free to give it a try. This was just released on June 1st, and I don't think people have found it yet. Be part of the crowd that found this before everybody else does. In I Can Only Speak Dooner, you make dooners for people who speak gibberish. It's great. The game has a pixel art vibe and it puts you in the shoes of someone who has recently fled their country and is looking to make dooner to survive. As you continue to play, you can buy more supplies or learn the gibberish language of the land that you are in better. Whatever you do, the choice is yours. As you can tell, the game has kind of a single dev, rough around the edges, but it has got it where it counts type vibe. I really appreciate the dooner of it all, and I think that helps make up for some of its inadequacies in gameplay, just because it's kind of fun. And honestly, the rounds are short enough that you can play a couple refreshing rounds without having it, get old. In the vein of serving magical food to people, this is the Witch's Bakery. It is part Kiki's delivery service, part bakery simulator, part magical Parisian fantasy. Honestly, the Witch's Bakery has a lot to offer. You are a heart witch, and you help solve people's emotional turmoil in Undertale-style puzzles as you prepare wonderful baked goods from your bakery. There's also some role-playing mechanics along with it. The way to the heart is through the stomach, but a little magic doesn't hurt. This is a beautiful trip to a magical Parisian fantasy. I believe the release date is August of 2026, so it should be coming in the next few months. Oui, oui, baguette. Merci de rien. Deep Snow Delivery is a game where you ride your tank in deep snow in pretty bleak conditions, trying to get supplies to different outposts in a post-apocalyptic snow-covered world. You make deliveries and pick up little treasures along the way. It reminds me of Easy Delivery Company in some ways. It's that right combination of cozy and perilous with a little bit of story on the side. The hours kind of flew by, and although be warned, there is a day-night cycle, and if you are caught in the night, you might just want to chill and wait for the light to come out again if you don't have any lights set up on your tank, because it gets dark fast. Feel free to check it out. This is one of those games where the release date has not yet been announced, so feel free to keep your eyes open and wish list to get more news. Collector's Cove is an intriguing and colorful entry into the cozy realm. It seems to take inspiration from Animal Crossing, Stardew Valley, and maybe even a little bit of Spiritfarer to make an adventure where you ride on the back of an enormous but cute sea creature, farming and finding different types of plants and fish. It's pleasing to the eye and fun to play. Given the influences, there's a chance that it might be popular, although I know that I do sometimes fall victim to the why do I play a game like Stardew Valley if I can also play Stardew Valley. I feel like this game does have enough different items, different actions, and different quests to make this feel very distinct from the just a Stardew Valley clone members of the cozy farming genre. This game was released in March, so you can go and buy it right now if you want. Go nuts. In Waxheads, imagine you're in a record store working, like in the movie High Fidelity, in a place full of drama, intrigue, and backstories that are just a conversation or two away, including the history of a band that broke up for mysterious reasons. Add the mechanics of a bartending game like Valhalla, Cyberpunk Bartender, but most of the time you're not mixing and serving drinks, you're actually discovering and recommending albums. There are 2 modes available: no refunds, where you have to live with your bad suggestions to customers, and the customer is always right, where you can try different record suggestions before you commit to a decision to allow the game to move forward. It's a game that encourages you to pay attention to detail and look beyond the obvious. Honestly, it's a great game for narrative musical adventures, and I honestly hope that there's more record store games in the future. This seems like a good place to be and a nice relaxing vibe after a rough day of, pleasing the customer. This game was released in March, so you can buy it right now. I would recommend it to you if you were my customer. Virtual Cottage 2 is part of the new trend of productivity utilities that act as virtual body doubles, task trackers, and Pomodoro timers, along with being a little music player for lo-fi music. In the demo, you have the choice of having a cat, a dog, or a bird, but if you want to have all 3, you could. Plus, you can pet them. It was a nice touch. Also, when you're in the middle of a focus session and you try to interact with the gamified of elements of the game, like changing the decorations, it provides a polite reminder that you are focusing, and the timer will pause while you interact with those elements. It's the first time one of these apps has reminded me to be productive instead of playing around during a supposed focus session. This game was released in late March, so it is ready and available now. Also, if you like to study with a friend, there is multiplayer functionality, I'm pretty sure. So check it out. There you have it. Those are 10 games that I really enjoyed from Steam's Next Fest in February, right before Steam's June Next Fest started. Some of the honorable mentions are appearing both before and after this video. They are no slouches themselves. Feel free to check those out as well. What are games that you've enjoyed over Steam Next Fest? Tell me a little bit more about it. Also, I used a slightly different format for reviewing this video compared to some of the previous ones that I did. If you like the way that this one looks, let me know. Feel free to do all the things, or don't. I'm not your dad. It's fine. But back to, trying to remember your experience. Write down how these games make you feel. Remember them and make sure that they don't get lost in the shuffle. Not everybody has to play Grand Theft Auto 6. For those of you who do, I respect your wishes and all that. But for every Grand Theft Auto, there's a Phonopolis or a Flock Around or a Raccoin or a Wabisabi Sushi Derby that's waiting for you to have fun too. There's a lot of good games out there, and don't let these, less heralded games get lost in the shuffle when there's plenty of fun to be had and a lot of different ways to have it. If you have any suggestions on other games that I should try in the upcoming Next Fest, let me know. I could potentially provide a link to the Google Sheet that I use to track my reviews. Or if you have other game suggestions that I should try, I'm interested in that, as long as the list doesn't get too long, because I don't want to explode like that monkey there. But yeah, thanks again for paying attention to all the way to the end. You're the real ones. I appreciate you. Yeah, so that's me signing off. Later.